Top of the morning to everybody. Obviously I've got me cup of tea in my TGBCH mug for my morning cup of tea. Bit subliminal. So today I've been all asked I've been asked specifically to talk about the over-minting and the puddle duck issue. And this is quite a serious issue. I haven't talked about this for quite some time, but it's one of the issues that really kicked it off with the mint. And that is that in 2016, what they did was they made 5 Beatrix Potters. You all know this, that most of you know this, but for those that don't. So the 5 that they minted in 2016 were Jemima Puddle Duck, the 150th anniversary, Squirrel Nutkin, Peter Rabbit and Mrs Tiggywinkle. They were the 5 that they made. Now the Jemima Puddle Duck was the rarest of the lot, and it was something like 2.1 million that were made. 2,100,000 that were made for circulation. Then what happened was that because it was the rarest one, over the next year, the price went up because it was a hard one to find. And the price kept going up, and it went up and it went up. And within a year, it had reached 10 to 12 quid. People were investing in the puddle duck like you wouldn't believe, because it was the rarest one, and everybody knows that you've got 100, not everybody knows, but you know, a lot of people that that buy to sell to make money, they know and they research and they work things out. And there's 100,000 Beatrix Potter collectors that will collect anything to do with Beatrix Potter. Doesn't matter what it is. So the puddle duck went up in price, and it went up and went up and went up to about 10 or 12 quid. And then the mint decided one day, someone at the mint had a great idea. They said, I know what we can do. We can call our friends up at 288 Group, who's sold out of the puddle duck, because I was talking to them and they've sold right out of it. We've had this little conversation. And so what we could do is we could make a load more, sell them direct to 288 Group, who will sell them on to the public. And we can make loads of extra money. Even though the Treasury doesn't want them in circulation, we can make loads of extra money because we've made this one a rare one. And that's exactly what they did. They contacted 288 Group, according to my contact, and I would swear this in court. According to my contact, they rang up 288 Group and they said roughly the equivalent of, hey, how do you fancy some more of the puddle ducks? Bit subliminal. To which Ian Glenn said, oh, I can't say no to that. And so what happened was, the Royal Mint made another 100,000 and sold the entire lot to 288 Group. Pardon me. People like me, dealers, other dealers out there that are not got special arrangements with the Royal Mint, other dealers out there that don't have advance warnings, advance notice and under the table deals, couldn't get any. They couldn't get any. They didn't release them in packaged, proper packaged coin, Royal Mint package, so ordinary dealers like me could buy them. No. What they did was, they only released them loose. They made an extra 100,000 loose coins and sold them direct to Ian Glenn at 288 Group, who then put them in his own packaging. And this was done with the sole exclusive aim of A, making extra money, and B, whilst making extra money, devaluing the puddle ducks that were already out there. Because by this time they'd reached, by the time that 288 Group had got their hands on a load more, they'd reached 10, 12 quid. And then 288 Group got another 100,000 coins, which they then advertised for sale at $3.99. And at the time they advertised it at $3.99, the rules on their own website, Change Checker Westminster Collection, same as they are now. You can only buy a maximum of 9 items, or you can only buy a maximum of 6 items, and so on. Which a lot of you hardened Change Checker and Westminster Collection customers and fans think is fair. Except what a lot of people didn't know was there was no restrictions whatsoever on eBay at that time. No restrictions whatsoever. You're restricted to buying 9 off their site, but you had no restrictions whatsoever on eBay. So you could come along by 20, 30, 40, 50. It just was not fair all around. It's all, you know, and the only reason it was like that, you could buy as many as you want on eBay, is because when they came on eBay, they had no idea how eBay worked properly. I had to educate Ian Glenn on some of the things, some of the ways in which eBay works. No idea. All they go for is a greed. Money, money, money. Greed, greed, greed. So what happened next? What happened next? Well, it was a bit unimaginable, because I was having a go at the mint for striking extra 2016 Puddle Ducks with a 2016 date on it in 2018. Now, while most of you have got no problem whatsoever with the Royal Mint making another coin, restriking another coin, etc., because it's another coin to collect, what happened was there was absolutely nothing to distinguish it from the 2018 copy to the 2016 original, the original 2.1 million that they made. When they started making extra, they made no distinguishing marks whatsoever, and they didn't even change the date. They kept a 2016 date on a coin that they was minting and making in 2018. Now, I complained about that rather heavily, and the Royal Mint's answer to that was, essentially, we can do what we like. If we want to mint another coin, we can legally mint as many as we want within a time frame, but nobody will say what that time frame is. They then admitted to, in writing, they admitted to making them not only in 2016, not only making them in 2018, but also they struck them in 2017 with a 2016 date. So you had the Puddle Duck struck over 3 years, 2016, 2017, 2018, all with a 2016 date on it. Outrageous. Outrageous for the coin collecting community. They should have put a 17 date and an 18 date if they wanted to make more, or they should have made more in the first place in 16. What they shouldn't be doing, because it affects the coin collecting market and it affects the value of coins, and they know this, so they did it knowing that it would affect the value of the coins. You go and make extra on a rare coin and it is going to devalue the market, and it did. Change Checker was selling them on eBay on the worldwide marketplace at $3.99. They didn't even have the decency or the courtesy to just sell them on their own website. They put them on eBay. And why is that so big? It's so big because the price at the time was 10, 12 quid. They've come in at their $3.99 and slaughtered it. Slaughtered the price of the Puddle Duck worldwide. Boom, in one fell swoop. Who's going to carry on paying 10, 12 quid for a Puddle Duck when all of a sudden, and who's going to pay 10, 12 quid for a circulated Puddle Duck when all of a sudden Change Checker and Westminster Collection have got another 100,000 that they're selling at $3.99? Who's going to pay 10, 12 quid? No one. So the value was absolutely slaughtered. And the weeks before, people that bought into it at 8, 10 quid, they just got stuffed. Absolutely stuffed for no other reason than making an extra few quid. It wasn't a mistake. They did it on purpose. They made the phone call. It was a conspiracy. They conspired. They made the phone call. They knew what they was doing. They knew it was wrong, and they still went for it to make an extra £250,000 for the mint, and an extra £250,000 for 288 Group. How is that right? And I was very angry about this. And I was very angry about this on behalf of the coin collecting community, because what they've done is very, very wrong. And they refuse to apologise for it. Not only that, but they now say that they can do the same thing to any coin, within a reasonable time frame. Well, the time frame that we're talking about is 3 years, 16, 17, 18. So the credibility of the mint goes out the window for coin collectors. Why does their credibility go out the window? Because you now cannot trust them that the figures they give are real. They came out with a figure of, what was it, 5 million or 3 million for the 5 million, I think it was, for the Great Fire of London, and then they reduced it down to 1 million. You can't play around with these kinds of figures. You can't play around with the figures for collectible market. You can't do that and expect the market to stay the same. It won't happen. You mess around with a market and that market's going to change. There's an awful lot of people that's not an awful lot of people. There are a handful of people that disagree with me from the comments, and they think the mint's doing a wonderful job. Well, that's fine. You know, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, then you think it is perfectly okay to invest money in a coin that you've been told is a rare coin, only for the mint to then decide at some point, a year or 2 years or 3 years later, to make more of it just to make a few quid, and therefore devalue your coin, the one that you bought. Time for a bit of subliminal. And I think, just the way my head goes, I think that's wrong. I think that's absolutely wrong. That would be like, we've just done a little thing ourselves where we're now initialing certain coins. We've done it with bunces that we're putting out free, but we're also doing it with circulated coins, and we've just done it with a 2008 Britannia, and we've said that we're going to stamp 200 of each letter on a 2008 Britannia. That's a total of 1,000 coins at $4.95 with a CO8. Could you imagine the backlash if in 2 years' time I suddenly said, oh, we're going to make another couple of thousand because we've got more members and we can sell more? It would be so wrong, and all the people that bought into it the first time round would be quite right to slate me for it, and, you know, and not be very happy. It's wrong. Once you've decided, once you've made that decision, you've got to stick to it. You really have got to stick to it, especially when you are somebody as big as the Mint. I mean, if you're a little tuppenny halfpenny business like mine, okay, you might have to chop and change things about a bit in order to survive. When you're a business like the Royal Mint and you're feeding one company, 288 Group, backing them, feeding them, backing them, feeding them, constantly, special arrangement, cartel, monopoly, special arrangement, all the time, then it's no wonder you have a company like 288 Group that are doing now, they are the 47th fastest growing company in the country, turning over £37 million last year, or roughly. Pardon me. And they are the second fastest growing company in my county, in Dorset. And the only reason they are the second fastest in my county and the 47th fastest growing company in the country is because they are heavily subsidised by the Royal Mint. And they've got deals like this that nobody else can get. The Academy, £5 coin. Most of them went to Change Checker and 288 Group. They didn't go everywhere else. People like me didn't get them. I had to buy mine off of them because the Royal Mint didn't put many of them out. I haven't seen any. So I couldn't get them from my supplier. So this is what I'm saying. This is the noise I'm making about the Royal Mint and 288 Group and backdating coins like the Puddle Duck. What they've done with the Puddle Duck, it should infuriate the entire country. Because it means that if they can do it with a Puddle Duck, they can do it with the 2009 Kew Gardens. Every single one of you that have got a Kew Gardens now worth 100 quid or more, that's gone. That'll be devalued. It'll, you know, if they get allowed to do this with that, if they decided to do it with that, and then sell that at £3.99, well, your Kew Gardens is now no good, not worth it, and all that money you've spent on it is just wasted. Or put it another way that I've often likened it to, which you should really put in your minds, honestly really should. We all know about the penny black stamp. We've all grown up with that. It's the rarest stamp they ever made, penny black. And it's worth somewhere in the region of about 7 or 8 grand or more. If suddenly the post office decided to make an exact penny black, I mean, they did one recently, they made a commemorative penny black, but it wasn't exactly the same. Exactly the same. It was different. You can tell the difference between the new penny black and the old penny black. Supposing they made it exactly the same so you couldn't tell the difference. Now all the money that these people have spent, £7,000-8,000 on a penny black, now their stamp's only worth a penny because they've made them exactly the same. You cannot tell the difference. That is what's happened with the Puddle Duck, and that is what's happening with coins that the Royal Mint and 288 Group have got this little secret little deal under the table that no one else is allowed to get. If you think that's right, if you think that the Royal Mint should be allowed to do that and they should be allowed to do what they're doing with 288 Group, then ignore me. Give me a wide berth. Don't watch my videos. Don't support us. And certainly don't put into the crowdfunder. If you think what they're doing is wrong, stick a few quid in, because there is nobody in the country that is shouting for you. Yeah, I'm shouting for me, I'm shouting to save my business and all the rest of it, but I'm also shouting for the coin collectors out there, because this is so wrong. You let me go, and what will happen is they will just continue to do what they want. And they'll continue to do it year after year after year after year. And you won't be able to trust in a single coin you buy off them, because you will never know when they're going to make more next year and the year after. And that practice needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. And they've taken that one step further with what they've done with the 10p's, to a point where they have made now tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of coins that are the same quality as what you get in circulation, which is copies. They've made copies, and they're essentially legally selling them. And it's making a complete farce out of the Treasury, and it's making a complete farce out of the coin collecting market, and every single one of you. I don't like it when people take liberties with me. Some of you don't seem to care, according to the comments, and that's great, it's your money, but I don't like them doing it with my money, and it affects my business. And if it affects my business, then I can't get hold of the products I want at the price I want, and that affects what I can sell to you. Everything affects everything. So come on and join us. What they're doing is outrageous, and you're letting them get away with it. Everybody's letting them get away with it, and it's got to stop. In order to keep minting a different date coin like 16, and keep minting that in 17 and 18, you need special dispensation. You need special arrangements with the government, and they didn't have it. So come on and join us. www.thegreatbritishcoinhunt.com. I'm Ian Lambert. Bye for now.